as WNBA players Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese square off once more on August 30th, reigniting the rivalry they've had since college. Some may not consider it a feud at all. One is Dallas Wings star Arike Ogunbowale, who discussed the issue on the Sports Seriously show, and well, she's firmly team Caitlin Clark, as we all should be. Now, I'm not saying Angel Reese isn't a good player, she is, but man, watching Clark play reminds me of the greats from the NBA. That's just how good she is. The so-called rivalry began after LSU product Reese made the "you can't see me" gesture and other viral moments to Clark during the 2023 national championship game in college, and both of their names have since been associated with each other. On the other side, Ogunbowale stated on the podcast that she finds it funny that the media has labeled it as a rivalry, especially because Clark and Reese play separate positions and hardly protect each other. I do think the Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark thing is funny. Like, it's just funny to me because they're two totally different positions, and the media tries to make them be like competitors, said Ogunbowale. But it's like, that's a guard and that's a post, so they never even guarded each other, so it's not really a rivalry, but it's just funny how people hype it up. But I know both of them, and they both have respect for each other, so it's mostly the media that's really how it goes. I'll say that one. It's always interesting to see what people have to say, because they just be so wrong. If one thing is certain, both first-year players Clark and Reese have shown in the WNBA thus far, drawing attention to the product and the rest of the rookie class. Both talents are also in it to win the Rookie of the Year title. But as said before on this channel, the award is almost surely going to Caitlin Clark. I mean, how many records does she have to break for people to catch on to this, right? Thus, Caitlin Clark continues to create history as she attempts to lead the Indiana Fever into the WNBA playoffs. This time, she breaks Rhyne Howard's remarkable record with none other than Simone Biles in the crowd. Recognized game, I guess. The Fever had a 14-16 record heading into Wednesday night's game versus the Connecticut Sun. They are now 1.5 games behind the Phoenix Mercury for the 6th spot in the league, but only 2.5 games ahead of the Chicago Sky for the 8th. Caitlin Clark and Indiana faced Alyssa Thomas and the Connecticut Sun on Wednesday night, the start of a difficult stretch for the Fever as they pursue the WNBA playoffs. Clark crossed over Sun guard Dejanai Carrington with just over 7 minutes remaining in the first quarter and stepped back for a three-pointer. She nailed the shot, giving her 86 for the season and shattering the rookie record. Clark ended the first half of Monday's game against the Sun with 10 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists, and 1 steal, but he also committed 5 turnovers. Despite the turnovers, Indiana led Connecticut 51-42 at the half. Caitlin Clark equaled Rhyne Howard and the Atlanta Dream on Monday night by hitting her 85th three-pointer of the season late in the third quarter. Rhyne Howard established the rookie record most three-pointers in a season with the Dream in 2022, making 85 out of 248 tries. Clark was 87 of 262 from beyond the three-point line at the end of the first half of last night's game. Caitlin Clark has averaged 18 points, 5.8 rebounds, 8.2 assists, and 1.4 steals in 30 games for the Fever this season. She has struggled with her efficiency, shooting only 41.4% from the field and 33.3% from three. In addition, she averages 5.5 turnovers per game, which is a major source of concern for the young star guard. Clark scored a personal career-high 30 points against the Washington Mystics on June 7th and tied the single-game rookie record most three-pointers with 7. Clark established the WNBA single-game record for assists with 19 on June 17th, while also scoring 24 points. Clark had a triple-double of 19 points, 12 rebounds, and 13 assists against the New York Liberty on July 6th. It was the first time in WNBA history that a rookie recorded a triple-double, as well as the first time a Fever player had done so. As of August 28th, Clark is also the all-time leader in rookie assists and double-doubles by a rookie guard. She entered Wednesday night's game against the Sun with 247 assists, 69 behind Alyssa Thomas, who holds the single-season record most assists, 316 in 2023. But with 5 more on the board and 9 games to go with a 8.2 assist average, she's looking to break this record as well, as a rookie. I mean, come on, Rookie of the Year secured, right? And maybe even WNBA MVP as well. Generational talent. The Fever are 3 wins and 1 loss coming off the Olympic break and are hoping to make the playoffs. Since starting the season 1-8, Caitlin Clark's team has gone 13-8 and is in a fantastic position to make the playoffs if they maintain their great play. Words aren't enough to describe Clark at this point. It's unusual for a player as heralded as Caitlin Clark to not only meet, but also exceed great expectations. That is exactly what Clark has done, dramatically improving the Indiana Fever's fortunes. Clark contributed 19 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists during the Fever's 84-80 victory over the Connecticut Sun on Wednesday night, bringing their record to 15 wins and 16 losses. Winning 4 out of the last 5 games, only the Lynx have won 5 out of 5. But, as impressive as Clark has been in her debut season, she is not without flaws. She can be inefficient shooting at times because to the variability associated with a jump shot heavy shot diet. However, the most significant flaw in her game right now is her issues with ball control. The Fever may have won a critical game against the Sun, but the Iowa product committed 7 turnovers, an awful amount. Caitlin Clark has 171 turnovers this season in just 31 games, for an average of 5.5 giveaways per game. To put Clark's turnover numbers in perspective, Clark now has more turnovers than Jaylen Brown, 166, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, 162, Alperen Sengun, 162, Bam Adebayo, 162, and Tyrese Halliburton, 159, did for the entirety of the 2023-24 NBA season. And those players have played in more than double the number of Clark's games. For context, Brown played 70 games, SGA played 75, Sengun played 63, Adebayo played 71, and Halliburton played 69 games. Last season, Luka Doncic led the NBA in total turnovers and turnover average. Doncic, like Clark, is a ball-dominant player who functions as their own offense. Despite this, Doncic had 1.5 less turnovers per game, 4.0 last season, than the Fever guard is now averaging. This demonstrates that the Fever guard still has a lot of work to do to improve her worst weakness in an otherwise fantastic game. But she's young, so plenty of room for improvement. Of course, Clark is also putting up historic assist statistics in the WNBA, and with so many playmaking possibilities, there will be plenty of turnovers. Nonetheless, the Fever guard is only 22 years old and has time on her side as she attempts to negotiate the complexities of becoming a top playmaker in the league. A great playmaker has the capacity to improve his or her colleagues by putting them in the best possible position to succeed. However, if the team is unable to maintain possession, it is difficult to provide the highest possibility of victory. This is an idea that Chris Paul, one of the best point guards of all time, and Tyrese Halliburton have embraced, guys who rack up assists without being irresponsible in possession. The Fever have the ability to make an impact in the postseason, but they can only go as far as Caitlin Clark leads them. The squad is shooting well from beyond the arc, which is always important in postseason games, but they need to give themselves a chance against other powerful teams by changing the mathematical equation in their favor. Given Clark's current career trajectory, it's doubtful that she'll suddenly become Chris Paul, Tyrese, Halliburton, Tyus Jones-like in terms of basketball protection. However, reducing her turnovers to 3 or 4 per game will greatly benefit the Fever. What are your expectations for the Fever entering playoffs? Will they be able to meet everyone's expectations and survive a round or two? Or could they even do the unimaginable and win the whole thing? What do you think? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below.